What's up, 49ers faithful? Drew Kerr, 49ers Sports Talk. Today's video, I'm going to feature Nick Bosa and the constant and continuous disrespect that he's getting, what it means moving forward, and what it could mean if the NFL miraculously decides to stop with the nonsense. So without further ado, I'm going to get into the video. Hope you guys enjoy. So I just wanted to start with this really quick bit. It's about 80 seconds. It's going to help illustrate the point of the NFL just kind of sliding Nick. The interview is by John Bosa. So just wanted you guys to have a quick listen. Like I said, it's only about 80 seconds, but it kind of encompasses how the family feels. I think he also probably feels this way about Joey. He said things about that in the past. So I think both Nick and Joey are kind of getting slighted by the NFL in some ways. Go ahead and have a listen.
The voice you hear is John Bosa. Of course, he is the father of Nick Bosa. And John, Nick had 15 and a half sacks last year. He was right up there among the best defenders in the NFL. And it felt like toward the end of the season, he was kind of petering out of the Defensive Player of the Year conversation. Obviously, it was between TJ Watt and Myles Garrett. Does that sort of thing fuel him in the offseason, those types of individual accolades? Does he talk to you about that Defensive Player of the Year award? Or is it just, you know what, I'm just striving to be the best edge rusher in the NFL, regardless of an award or not?
Well, I think he's striving to be the best. And those accolades obviously are nice. And I think they would be appreciated. But I think he's been disrespected quite a bit in his young career. And I think that continued. I think not getting one vote for Comeback Player of the Year was an absolute joke. And I'm taking nothing away from his very good friend, Joe Burrow. But I think that was an absolute travesty that he didn't get one vote when the kind of year he had coming back. So those things may probably annoy me more than they annoy him. Because he's, like I said, he's single-minded, and it's all about the Niners.
The next thing that I want to talk about is every season since Nick Bosa's rookie year, teams have been able to hold him egregiously with impunity. And I get it, not every hold is going to get called or anything like that, but these are the ones that matter. These are like the ones in the playoffs and the Super Bowl, particularly when everything's magnified and every little thing matters. So we've all seen it. We've all seen the egregious holds. We've all seen a million times Bosa getting tackled and pushed around. He got there was one play in the Super Bowl. We don't want to relive this, of course, but he got turned around by two guys, almost picked up and thrown to the ground. If that's not a hold, guys, what is? I don't know what the NFL is doing, what they're looking at, what these refs are looking at. But I just kind of wanted to talk about some of these. You can see here in some of these slides that it's insane the amount of things that teams are able to get away with. If they were not able to get away with these things, what would his totals look like? What would his quarterback pressures and his sack numbers look like? They'd be astronomical. I mean, he could probably get 25 to 30 sacks a year if some of this stuff was getting called, if some of these refs were actually watching what's happening to Nick Bosa. And I feel like guys like TJ Watt and Myles Garrett, it probably happens too as well a little bit, but I feel like they get more calls than Nick Bosa. And I really searched and really tried hard to find those types of numbers, as well as numbers, sack numbers that have been taken away by other egregious defensive penalties on the Niners. I'd say he probably has a good 5 to 8 sacks that are not on his stat line to his career to date because of weird penalties against the 49ers. So, I think that the holding is a little bit more intense against Nick Bosa, and the refs are not calling it as much. Just kind of a visual. As a casual fan watching other teams, I feel like other guys, other elite pass rushers in the NFL are getting the calls that Nick Bosa is not. Just to expand on that, I kind of view this like he's not getting the star treatment he deserves. This feels a lot like the treatment that Steph Curry's received in the NBA in his entire career. While guys like LeBron get all the calls for anyone just breathing on him, Steph does not and has not. And so this feels a little bit parallel to the treatment that Bosa gets in the NFL. Again, guys like TJ Watt and Myles Garrett do draw several holding calls, while for some odd reason Bosa doesn't get as many. So I'm not really sure what the NFL's doing. I don't know if it's coming from the top, like give these guys special treatment, or if it's actually just ref favorability. Like certain refs might not like the 49ers. And I'm not saying that, Nick's never gotten any holds, but it just really feels like certain, like the Bay Area teams in general. And yes, I am a fan, so you could call me a homer and all this stuff. But it just feels from watching objectively other teams, it feels like other teams are drawing those calls. And so where does it stop? When is it going to stop? I mean, if it did stop, I think, like I said, Nick's going to get a lot more sacks, a lot more production. And that's saying a lot because, all the greats, all the sack leaders and stuff like that have done quite a bit. And so I'm going to get into that and we can take a look there. So just for some contrast and just for some clarity on where Nick Bosa actually stands in his career to date, I took the top 6 sack leaders of all time, which are Bruce Smith, Reggie White, Kevin Green, Julius Peppers, Chris Dolman, and Michael Strahan, who holds the single season record, 4 sacks in a season, 22.5 in 2001. But what I did is I took their first four seasons because Nick's only played 4 full seasons. Obviously, that 2020 year he went out, in the Jets game and didn't play that season. So I kind of just took everybody's 4 first full seasons, and I did exclude partial seasons for the others. And I took their first 4 seasons so that it was apples to apples. Where they're at. So, first off was Bruce Smith, who is the all-time sack leader. He has 200 sacks in his career. This is from 1982 on, when they really started keeping track of this stuff officially. In his first 4 seasons, he had 44.5 sacks. And then moving on to Reggie White, he had 198 sacks in his career. His first 4 full seasons, he had 70. He had 21 in 1987. And then Kevin Green, 160 career sacks. First 4 full seasons was 53. Julius Peppers, 159.5 career sacks. First 4 full seasons, 40.5. Chris Dolman, 150.5 sacks. First 4 full seasons, 43. He did have 21 in 1989 after Reggie White had his 21 in 1987. And then Michael Strahan, who I said just a minute ago, all-time season sack leader. In his first full seasons, he had 31. Where's Nick Bosa? He has 53.5 career sacks in 4 full seasons. So you could see that if he was getting some of these calls, if the Niners weren't getting egregious calls against their defense, he'd probably have another 7 to 8 on top of this. So he'd be 60 something. The trajectory would be to be the all-time sack leader if he stays healthy for as many years as these other guys have played. Nick Bosa is on track to break the all-time sack record that's set by Bruce Smith. So apples to apples, like I said, this would place the order of value. The order of value would be Reggie White and then Nick Bosa. And then followed by Kevin Green, Bruce Smith, Chris Dolman, Julius Peppers, and their first 4 full seasons of play. So with that, you can take with it what you will. It's kind of cherry picking in a way, but in a way it's not, because we are comparing full seasons to full seasons, and you can see some of the all-time greats in their first four seasons outside of Reggie White are behind Nick Bosa. So that is the trajectory. And if he starts getting less holding or more holding calls against him, then teams will have to be forced to respect Nick Bosa a little bit more, and it will free him up a little bit more. Very curious to see what adding a guy like Leonard Floyd will do to Bosa. Will it unlock him? I think that there's still some gas in the tank for Leonard Floyd. I think that they're going to have to focus on him now as well as Bosa. We'll see what these interior guys do and how that will help unlock Nick Bosa. All right, guys. Well, that's a wrap for today's show. Please leave in the comments what you guys think about the mistreatment of Nick Bosa, or if you even think that there is any mistreatment. He's just another defensive player that's getting the short end of the stick. Really would love to hear your guys' thoughts on that. And if you're new to the channel, please subscribe. Go ahead and give the video a like as well, and share if you enjoyed the video today. So I really appreciate everybody who has subscribed and likes the videos and continues to participate with this channel. Thank you guys so much, and we'll see you next time. Take care.